All right. Now, it would be criminally insane if I talked about all the other shows that I used to watch and not talk about this one in particular first. Before, I mean, granted, I did talk about Darkwing Duck first, and then there was Chipman and Rescue Rangers, and then there was Tailspin. But I feel as though this needs to be talked about next. So, finally, we're going to discuss the very popular, the very famous, the very socially loved cartoon series to ever come on Disney Afternoon back in the 90s. The cartoon show called Ducktales. Now, I want you to keep in mind, it's been such a long time since I've watched this series alone. I've had to literally go back and look at the character names, remind myself, have them click in my head. I watched a review of like the first 2 episodes and whatnot, and the base of the story, because it has been a minute since I've even watched this show. And the fact that I don't even have cable, I have not even had time to watch the new DuckTales series, which I should have done because of the fact that Darkwing apparently is in the next in the I think they said season 2 or whatnot. I forget what Stardust or Baraf had told me, but yes, I have yet to watch it, but thankfully I now have Disney Plus. So tomorrow, which will be going up to, which this video will be going up today, I'm gonna watch it. So with that being said, let's get into this. So we start off with probably one of the most interesting and currently one of the most strongest Disney characters, surprisingly, Scrooge McDuck. And the reason why I say strong characters is because if you would watch the death battle before you had realized that it was a bunch of bullshit, Scrooge McDuck apparently has immeasurable amount of strength when he's pissed off. Of course, Scrooge McDuck, just by the name alone, he's very greedy. When it comes to gold, he will do anything to get it. He will go to the ends of the earth to obtain all of the riches in the world, even though he's already rich. The man literally has a freaking vault, a giant vault filled with gold that he just dives in on a daily. Even though Screw basically had said that if you couldn't even do that because of the fact that it's hard, and if you even tried to dive into money, you're gonna hurt yourself. But I guess apparently Scrooge McDuck has such a indestructible body, he can just dive in his own gold. So yeah, there's that. I still remember, when they had mentioned in the comic where one of his enemies had made a joke about his mother, his dead mother, and he flipped out, just flipped, snapped, and lifted an entire, I believe it was either was an entire building or was an entire ship, and threw it that's just immeasurable amount of just rage. So by that alone, I respect Scrooge McDuck, because regardless of how anybody feels, regardless of what his family felt about him and his greed, he did what he wanted to do. If he wanted to get what he wanted to get, he was gonna do anything in his power to get it. And speaking of his family, we have to talk about the three little main ducks, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And basically, they get dropped off by, of course, their other uncle, Uncle Donald Duck, my favorite character, Disney character of all time. And they go off to live with Scrooge McDuck. Now, you would think that in this series, those three little characters would be more of a handful than, you know, than to be helpful. But surprisingly enough, to their credit, they actually do help Scrooge McDuck out a lot. In a lot of episodes, they go and assist him when he's in trouble. They help him find out like the treasures that are hidden in other places. And honestly, with this series, it helps me, despite the fact that there was an actual cartoon that was literally about them and them getting on Donald's nerves, you know, this series really gave them a little bit more detail, you know, like Huey, Dewey, and like all three of them, like they all just feed off of each other, like their personality, even though they're like triplets, they're just enjoyable to watch in this series alone. Now, of course, there's the other little duckling. Her name is Webby, and she is adopted to Scrooge McDuck. He takes her in, and along with her grandmother, I think her name was Mrs. Beakley. I hope I'm saying that right, Mrs. Beakley. If not, correct me in the comments. But she was, both of them were enjoyable characters. I loved Mrs. Beakley. She was more of like, I don't know, like the motherly side of like the whole crew. Like she made sure that the kids were okay. Like if especially if Webby was in danger, she would do anything to make sure that she was safe. Webby, honestly, she was a little bit annoying to me, but she had her moments where she was useful, and she had some development in episodes. Don't get me wrong, like other people can probably say, "Oh, Webby's my favorite character" and whatnot. I don't think there's anything wrong with her. It's just that sometimes she gets a little bit annoying. Which is honestly fine, because Huey, Dewey, and Louie have their moments too where they're annoying. And of course, there's Launchpad, who is also in the series as their pilot. He takes them around different places around the world to find these certain treasures and things like that, and accompanies them as well. Now, for the main villain of this show, surprisingly, it's not a duck. It's like a dog, an old dog thing, I should say. I don't know what else to call this character, but his name is El Capitan. And apparently this character lived for 400 years. 400 years in search of gold. Like, if it's not Scrooge McDuck in this series that will search to the ends of the earth for wealth, it's this character. He will do anything for gold. He will go out of the way. If this show got an R rating, he would kill somebody over gold. He would murder somebody over some gold. And then there's his like little accomplices. They're more like little bandit dogs. I forget what they're called. But yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about, because I'm gonna post like a picture of them in this video. But like the something boys, like they were always assisting him in his little schemes and heists to get gold and whatnot. Still, I can't believe this man lived for like 400 years though. That's honestly insane. And like his excuse as to why he did it, as to why how he could have done it, and his excuse is like sheer willpower. Like he really made sure that he lived long enough to obtain what he had been searching for. But overall, like like this is the most one of the most remembered and most popular series of all time that came on Disney Afternoon. And for as powerful as this series was, the theme song is even more powerful. Like, you would think that with all these cartoon series that I have talked about, that, you know, there wouldn't be any more. But oh no, are you wrong. There are this one, especially this one takes the cake for a lot of people who remember DuckTales. Like, the moment people say DuckTales, that song comes on. The moment somebody even says or even talks about Scrooge McDuck, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, any of them, Launchpad, DuckTales will come on in your brain, in your mind. The song, the characters, the whole story, just a level of remembrance and nostalgia will fill your mind. There are like videos upon videos on YouTube talking about DuckTales and how much like it just enjoyed and enriched people's lives when they were growing up. The crazy thing is that I didn't really watch much about DuckTales. My main to-go show, of course, as I've already told you, was Darkwing Duck. I love the hell out of Darkwing Duck. But I still watch DuckTales, and it was enjoyable whenever it came on Disney Afternoon when I was a little kid. I'm telling you, along with this show and many others, this was upon my most favorite ones, because it was just great. It's just something about ducks and them just doing stuff. It's just crazy. But with that being said, I'm gonna end it off right here. If you have any comments about or nostalgia about this series alone, whether it be the classic one or the current one that I believe is still ongoing, feel free to express your opinions down below. Also, join the Discord and let's have more conversations up there about like other shows and whatnot. Like, I definitely want to keep talking with you guys. Until then, this has been Master Ryo Sakurai. I love y'all, and I'm gonna get up out of here. Peace.